What's going on, everybody? Marcus back again, guild leader of Gods Among Legends, and your host of Casually Hardcore, here for this 5.4 Fury Warrior guide. Now, this guide isn't going to be a professional guide, it's just going to be some things that I've noticed about Fury Warriors in patch 5.2 since I've never played one until 5.2. I've been mostly arms just for PvP, but I have been using this spec for a little bit for PvP and a lot for PvE when I'm just running LFR, Flex, or just questing. Why don't we go over the talents that I've been using first? First thing that I have been using is double time. Being able to charge twice always helps in fights where there's a lot of ads. And also questing. Things like the Nazgrim fight when you want to hopscotch between ads that are dying fast, or Mercius, it helps. Also in Fallen Protectors, I mean, this tier has so many ads that spawn all over the place, Neurosian, you name it, that you're going to want to be able to charge twice, and you'll probably burn through both of them quickly, but by the time you use that second one, whatever you're actually trying to do during those ad phases, depending upon the fight, will probably be over, so you won't need a third one. My second tier, I've actually gone with Impending Victory, and I'll tell you why. One of the things that I really liked about Impending Victory is how it heals you for 20% of your health, has a minimal rage cost, and does deal somewhat decent damage. It's probably one of the weakest hits you can give out, but it's a damaging attack that heals you up. One of the great things about it is it's a 30-second cooldown, so every 30 seconds you're going to be able to give yourself 20% health, especially in certain situations like the Spoils fight or Neurosian when you're all by yourself in the orb phase. Any situation where you're far away from a healer but you've got an ad on you, you can easily get 20% of your health back. And of course, the cooldown resets if you kill something. So if you get especially in a raid tier, you got to get the killing blow. But of course, it's a good talent. And rage regeneration's okay, but the 1 minute cooldown and no chance of a proc reset just don't make it that much appealing, because rage regeneration takes 5 seconds. Pending Victory is instant. Now, if you're in the Corcoran Dark Shaman fight and you've got foul streams all over you, you're going to want 20% of your health back as soon as possible. And if you kill a foul stream, you might get a reset. Second Wind, it's mostly for PvP. It's a must for PvP, but for PvE, it'll only get you to 35% health. Now, third tier. Piercing Howl and Staggering Shout are pretty much worthless. This entire talent tier, these two talents are pretty much worthless, except for maybe Piercing Howl for PvP. Disrupting Shout is amazing because it gives you, not only do you have Pummel, but now you have 2 interrupts. And Disrupting Shout's an AoE interrupt. You have a 10-yard range, so in tough fights like the Nazgrim fight, that's going to be something that you're going to want to use, and you're going to have 2 of them. So let's say you're the only one interrupting the Shaman ad in Nazgrim. You're going to have 2 of them, and you'll be very helpful. Now, I'm spec Bladestorm right now, but I am constantly hopscotching between Bladestorm and Dragon Roar. Shockwave might be useful in certain fights. The ones that come to mind are the Mercius fight to stun the ads, stun those little purified Shaw bubbles, and also things like the Nazgrim fight. But I found that Bladestorm's great for the Shaw Pride fight because you can easily burn down those self-reflections. They're just, it's amazing. Especially if you combo it up with my macro of Recklessness and Skull Banner. But Dragon Roar is also useful in things like the Iron Juggernaut fight and the Malkarok fight where there's no ads. So have some Tomes of the Clear Mind on you. I've only got 9, I usually carry about 50 on me. But Dragon Roar is useful for single target fights. Bladestorm for ad fights, like, you know, it could be useful on Nazgrim if you've got the ads bunched up together. Now, I have Smash Spell Reflection on, only because I just came out of a battleground. But you know, Vigilance is great because you can throw it on a tank, throw it on a healer, throw it on someone who's taken a lot of damage. It's a great little added raid tool. And finally, Stormbolt is the only choice for a Fury Warrior. I am getting almost 1,000,000 point crits off of Stormbolt when my Recklessness and Skull Banner are active. I macro Recklessness and Skull Banner together. When those are active, I will crit for 1 million right now, even though I'm only, as you can see, 536 equipped. So Stormbolt is the only choice. Now, one of the things that warriors bring to the table in pretty much every raid is their utility, especially with their new abilities. Fury warriors can now use shield wall without having a shield. So you have 2 defensive cooldowns, Die by the Sword and shield wall. Those are great in the Nazgrim fight when you need to pop the mines if your tank misses them. You also have Demoralizing Banner and Rallying Cry. You should let your raid know when you're doing this. I love to pop these 2 during Bursting Pride or things like War Song during the Nazgrim fight if I'm DPSing that fight. It saves the raid because you'll take 10% less damage and you'll also give your party members 20% maximum health for 10 seconds. Use Demo Banner and Rallying Cry whenever you can because they'll just help your raid out tremendously. When it comes to gemming and reforging, it's pretty simple for a Fury Warrior. There's only one way to do it. It's crit. You're going to pretty much ignore every socket bonus. Don't go for the socket bonus. Strength isn't as strong as Critical Strike. So every single socket gets a crit gem. As you can see, my crit chance right now is 28% unbuffed. That's pretty decent, but it's, I need better gear. When it comes to the rotation of a Fury Warrior, I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Colossus Smash is really key to a Fury Warrior. You're going to have to make sure you time your bigger attacks like Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and Stormbolt with Colossus Smash. You don't want to... You need to keep an eye on its cooldown. It's got a 20-second cooldown. It allows all of your attacks to bypass 100% of their armor for 6 seconds. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look down. If you have Omni cooldown count as an add-on, it helps. If you've got 2 seconds left on your cooldown, might not be a good idea to pop that Raging Blow just yet. You might want to wait till Colossus Smash comes up. And you're going to be popping Berserker Rage on cooldown to get a proc of Raging Blow. You're going to want to use Bloodthirst on cooldown, and Wild Strike will proc those 3 free hits every now and then. And you're going to want to use Heroic Strike as a rage dump. Here is the kicker for Fury Warriors in this tier. It's stance dancing. You are going to be stance dancing as a Fury Warrior, sometimes in between certain phases of the fight. I'll give you a quick example. During the Immersius fight, at the beginning, I will go in Berserker stance, and if I've got good healers, I will stand in the shot puddles for a little bit to give myself a little extra rage if I'm low, especially in Berserker stance. In other fights, like Malkarok, where you might not be taking sustained damage, you might want to stay in battle stance. And if shit is hitting the fan, you will go into defensive stance momentarily, though, because you don't want to be pulling threat, so I wouldn't be going into defensive stance if you're hitting the boss. It's something where if you're, let's say, the Siegecrafter Black Fuse fight, and you just got, mollywopped by the Shredder, or you ran into the Saw Blades, or you're getting superheated, you can pop into defensive stance. But the Fury Warrior is probably the only warrior class right now that's stance dancing a lot mid-fight. Use it to your advantage. If you know you're going to take damage, pop into Berserker stance. You're going to get free rage. If you know you're not going to be taking damage, go to battle stance. So that's pretty much it for this Fury Warrior guide. One of the crazy things about the Fury Warrior is so many things pop up almost instantaneously. Like you might have your Wild Strike proc and your Raging Blow proc at the same time. The key is Raging Blow is king. It's way better than proccing 3 free Wild Strikes. So prioritize Raging Blow, get your Stormbolts in there, get your Bloodthirsts in there, and time them with Colossus Smash. And make sure you get a macro for Recklessness and Skull Banner. They both share the same cooldown. Macro them together. They should only be used together. Because if you use them both together and you throw out a Stormbolt, it's going to hit hard. Really hard. The other key to any successful Fury Warrior is going to be getting that 4-piece set bonus. The 4-piece set bonus for a warrior is incredible. It's the old talent from, I believe, Wrath, where it was called Sudden Death. I think they have Sudden Death right now, but the old Sudden Death basically procced your execute. Now, the great thing about this one is if the target's below 20% health, execute is free. It no longer has that humongous rage cost. 30 rage, that's a significant amount of rage. So if you can get that 4-piece set bonus, you'll be made in the shade. Fury Warriors haven't looked this good in a long time. And yeah, that's about it. Any questions, comments, leave them below. And I'm Marcus Bloodblade, and we'll see you guys next time.